Hey, for those who don't know me, just let me introduce myself first. So, I'm Yanis, a Y like that because I love Edge Runner, and a Hey like that because I love Titanfall. I love sports, helping other people. I really love art, anime, music. I love making games, coding, every type of discipline in this world. So today I wanted to make a robot, yeah, but with four paws and just not like that, but yeah, way better. So I wanted it to be intelligent, autonomous, and also friendly or cute. So the basic systems is a pause with two motors. So one that's turned on the y-axis like that. It's quite the same as the second motor, and the last one turn on the z-axis. It's to rotate like a human shoulder, I will say, and other motors on the head to help the autonomous of the robot because he has a camera, and that's how it works. Here is Maxime, and the camera will draw a rectangle and find the center of Maxime. Then, if Maxim move, the box and the center move, but the robot calculates the distance and turns the servo motor as good. Now the leader, let's talk about it. So it's like a long infrared thing that turns 360 degrees like that, and it make a bunch of points that will be red if it hits a surface. So here is an AC, for example, and we will use odometry. So it will calculate the new and the last position of our AC to then send it to nav2 that will calculate the path to go in certain destination, and then we'll send it to the robot, and the autonomous and the intelligence is now complete. So for the friendly, let's talk about the speaker. So it's a system of speaker, amplifier, server, and microphone. So the microphone understand what you say, send it to the servo motor, translate a response, send it to the amplifier, and the amplifier send it to the speaker, and your response is hearable, I will say. So then let's talk about the OLED display. So it works as the robot state, so it follows the robot state and make an animation specifically for the state of the robot with a special mode, the turtle mode. So now the servo, so the social interaction are handled with Wi-Fi. So if you are connected to any Wi-Fi, it will send the question to the Gemini API and then response to send it to the server that will send it to the speaker or even in the motor if it's an action. And if you don't have connection to Wi-Fi, it will use LLM. So it's like an AI but in the robot and less powerful. For the controller, I prefer to use the website. So here is how it looks. So it's basically you click on the website, it will send the things, the information to the Python code, and then send it to the file dedicated to the action in the code. So for the components, they are disposed in two layers. So the battery in red, in yellow it's all the servo motor, and in orange it's the wave shield card that will be used for the servo motor. In green it's the multiplexer for multiplex the connection I will make in the robot. In blue it's the main servo, very powerful, and in purple it's the lidar. I put it on the top to see obstacles and not stay in the box of the chassis. And so in light green, it's the same. I put it on the top. It's the microphone and the speakers. In pink to the left, yes, it's the stability sensor, and to the right, it's the camera and the OLED display. So I prefer to put the microphone and the lidar and the speaker on the top to have more power in the robot. So for the connection of the robot, I connect the battery to the main servo in blue, and in orange the wave shield cord that will use to signal the servo motor. And then the servo motor, I connect them to the wave shield cord, and also make a information cable to the main servo. I also add a connection to the amplifier from the servo that will be used for the speakers. So then I connect to the multiplexer, the main servo, as it will duplicate the number of connection I could make in the robot. And so I connect to the microphone that will understand what you say. Understand is a big word. He will just send it to the servo. The servo that will understand. So in pink, it's the stability sensor to help the robot to not fall or to help in some elevated ground. And so then I connect also the LiDAR to the main servo. I need to be connected to the main servo because I need a lot of power for the LiDAR, so not the multiplexer. So then I connect the amplifier to the speakers to be able to speak, literally. And so then the little next motor to the main servo, the camera to the main servo, and the OLED display to the multiplexer. So recently I drew a turtle in my front house, so I think about the visual and I want to make a turtle so that how it looks with the bottom, the top, and placement for the paws to go through. And I also make some emplacement for the head and for the LiDAR, the microphone, and the speaker on the top. I just wanted to say that the top is like, it looks like quite messy, but I will fix it in a second version because I learned a lot in the 3D CAD app. Here is the final result. Here is after a long hour of work, as I have also some in real life problem with 3D space between things. It was like very hard to make. I think you said dysgraphia in English, and so here is inside the box. So it looks like quite messy, but I will use a cable management to make it more clear. Like I will use some scotch, some things to tie the cable together and to make sure they don't be in the pause, like they don't have an impact on the movement. So I'm not really fluent speaking English, so in front of the camera it will be really hard. But all I wanted to say is like I learned a lot during this project, as I learned Python, Linux, some command, Git, even Git. I learned it a bit. Not I'm not a professional, but I will. If I need to recommend it to someone, I will say yes, because you will learn a lot. As going to some things, I learned a lot. I wasn't able to do any things before. I just threw myself in, scratching through forum. People will already do this type of project, videos. If because internet now help us to make really big things and learn. So after this long work, I face a lot of problems. I'm going to list all the problems and things I could tell you to solve it. So first, about the cable management, as I was talking just before, I think um, I will tell you to start by learning how to make a PCB, because I think it's the next steps. It's like next project I will make a PCB because it's like a way more easier. They tell me about making a PCB, but I wasn't really aware. I don't even think about it. So I scratched up and I was thinking I need to make my own servo control, main servo, but it's not a PCB. It's not a main servo. I was totally wrong and I don't understand it. So I just understand later after. So a PCB is like a plate to put your component in, and the cable management is in the plate. Let me show you what a PCB looks like. So that's how a PCB looks like. So he's kind of destroyed because it's like an old toy. Oh, it's like an old toy, and I wanted to find some components because I'm not sure Stardust will give me all the components I need, because like the list is really expensive. So I search up for some components, LEDs, everything I can find, and so unfortunately broke it, but it's not. It's an old toy that will go to the garbage. So here's how it looks. So this is cables. As we see everywhere here, it's like cables, and we have some old components that's still here. So you put in all the holes. Here is one hole here, two, one. Here is for the screw. So every little hole, and so you just put the component in, and so the cable is mean it's not big cables, and it will be really messy if you don't make a PCB. So that's the first thing I learned. And I guess that's all. Thank you if you're still here. It was hard to make this video. I think this video was harder to make than the robot, just because talking in front of a camera, I love sharing projects, sharing ideas, but talking in front of the camera, it's quite hard. It's more in English because I'm really not speaking English, not fluent speaking English. So yeah, it was hard. I have to learn some little vocabulary. I did it, so I'm quite proud of this video, even if it looked quite messy, quite not really how to say it, quite not a big video. It's like showing my project. And no, it's not the end of the video. Just because I want to talk about a thing I didn't talk about. I said it, but I don't explain. So about Star Dance and a club. For those who know me, you might know a bit. So hackclub is like an association, and that help us to go through making projects, to help provide components for our project, to have some. They have some tutorials to learn just coding. I see some about making a website, things like that. And I guess if you want to start coding or electronics or robotics, anything about informatics, I will recommend you to go check the website. And I guess it's like uh, out of the components, the price, the helping to provide things, the tutorial. I think it's also a good way to make friends around technology, as we all sometimes see like nerds, but when you are in community, because everyone share his project and you have lot of to learn. Even if you're like me, I'm just a regular dude looking for learning things, and I guess it's like a big community of great people that just want to share things. So I can only encourage you to join a club, and that's all I wanted to say about. And stay tuned because I will make another video, way more project, as I have friends that know how to make great video. So it will be a very great video about when I finish and totally the robot. I think we finally going to an end. So I hope you enjoy, even if you are just a regular dude that don't even know how works electronics, and you may be quite lost during the video, but or just an adult that will see the video that know about a little. I try to make this video for like everyone. Like if I had to explain what do I've made for hours, like 120 hours, something like that, to people who don't know anything. So I really hope you understand, and if you are interested or you don't even catch something, just tell me in comments, in DM, in everywhere you want. If you have question, I'm free to respond. Tschüss.